Welcome to another episode of MID Global. I'm your host, Leanne Hackman-Carty. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Maja Jurisic. She's a project manager with the Island Movement, located in the Croatian islands. It sounds like a beautiful place, but there's a lot of challenges that come with living in remote islands, especially when there's thousands of islands in the area. So stay tuned as I talk to Maja about some of the challenges and opportunities that she's working on in that area. Hey Maja, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm very good.
Good. Hey, so before we get started, just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, your background.
Well, I'm currently living on the island on Solta in Croatia. I moved here 5-6 years ago after I was sick of the city and too many traffic and too many noise. So I decided I was always listening in a way, like people telling like, I can't wait to go get retired and go living on the island. And I was like, why should I wait? If this is so good, then we should do it before. And yeah, I was risking quite a lot in my 30s and moved on the island where I had some roots. My grandmother and grandfather were living here, so I moved at some point and decided to, as I was feeling very lonely, I decided to start with educating young people how to remain on the island. And at that point, I was dreaming about becoming a digital nomad. It was something that it was more for the younger people, people who are, thinking about new technologies and things like this. And I wasn't sure if this is because everything what I know to do wasn't really for an online work. So yeah, it was an interesting way. Before that, I was working for big companies, for real estate companies, and I was also working as in an agency for investment and competitiveness in the capital for the Ministry of Economy. And I was quite, I wanted a change. I wanted to give something to this world, and I wasn't feeling like I'm doing this in the regular jobs.
So tell me about, you're involved with the island movement there. So tell me a bit about the movement, what its mission is, what its goals are, just so people can understand what you're doing.
Well, when I came on the island, I realized that there is no human capital, and that people are here, although they are protected in a way from the urban life and all of this stress. On the other side, there are lack of information and knowledge about what is really happening out there in the world. So we started with the association called Awakening, because we wanted to awake people into something that is happening now, I would say. So we started this 5 years ago, and at some point we were working on an EU project here on the island, and our results were project ideas from different islands and islanders. And what happened is that people from other islands started to come on our island, and they had an idea about creating a network of islanders that want to make a change in their environment. And we were all feeling very lonely in a way, when you want to bring a change somewhere in the community, that it's not going so fast or so easy. So we realized that Croatia is known as having more than 1,000 islands, but there are only 60 of them, 50 of them that are inhabitant. So we realized that if we have at least one or two people on each island, that then we have a little group of people that can do things. But as we are divided, and everybody are talking about islands like they are divided from everything, and they are disconnected, and they are like that we are second world or second grade people or something like this. But the new technology in a way brings us an opportunity to erase these borders and to remain connected no matter where we are. So so at some point, we decided to name it Island Movement, and it was representatives from 8 or 9 different Croatian islands back in 2015. And we get together on the island of Hvar and had 2 days of strategic planning of the network of the islanders. And this is how it started. We started as an idea, started to educate and to empower young people, young islanders, to create their own jobs on the island, but also to attract other people who are dreaming about living on the island, and to help, the island communities to get more fresh blood, I would say. And yeah, it was a very enthusiastic idea, I have to say. And at some point, as you know, when you are talking about islands and working about islands, that means everything. So it's a community, consists of it's a small world in the middle of the sea, and they have everything. If you want to talk about agriculture or culture or schools or public authorities or environment or everything, so it is a system by itself. So it was very challenging to find out what exactly is the problem and what we should focus ourselves on, because everywhere were problems and everywhere were challenges. So at some point, the biggest thing that we were facing was corruption on the island, which was a reflection from the national state. And I would say that when you stick your finger into something very tough, I would say. So at some point we became activists, and this is how also that you need to be labeled somehow in the society. So for a long time we were acting as activists. Most of the public knows us as a political activist, because we realized that there is going on a big devastation of the coast and the sea, with the waste, with the mass tourism, and with everything that we change ourselves in a run for money, in a way. And we lost the community spirit, and islands were known as someone who had like cooperatives for a long time. They were living by themselves. They were forced to be sustainable. But not long ago, I think maybe 50 years ago, this was the way of living on the islands. But today you have different story. Tourism came, and everybody wants to be, to grab as much money in as smallest period of time to survive, to educate the kids, and to feel like they are somehow better than the cities and things like this. So it was affecting everything. It is affecting community. It is affecting environment. Lots of people are building houses, second houses here, and taking the part of the maritime good as their own, and we are losing our island in front of our eyes. So this was something that it was a kind of devastating fact that we needed to dig more into it, and we create a big public petitions, and we had people on ground asking. Our first campaign was named "Do You Hear Your Islands?" So we were one of our first project was to get everybody from 10-15 different islands on a boat, and sailing through the island to the island, to raising awareness about us and about winter on the islands, that we are still there, that there are some people actually living there. And this is how it started.
I like that slogan. Do you hear your islands? Or do you know your islands? That's what you said, or do you hear them?
Do you hear the islands? Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say? Obviously there's challenges with community, with development in the area. What would you say are the biggest opportunities for your region in the future going forward?
Well, I have to say that our story completely changed 2 years ago when this political activism became more like the pressure than at some point you became a revolutionary person, and then you are trying to break everything that you see that it's not working. But on a long-term period you have to realize that you need to build things to show by example how the things should be done, and not all the time pointing what's wrong. We all know there are so many things wrong, so we decided to focus ourselves on the sustainability overall, building an online community, but also raising awareness about the opportunities, as you are asking, in the energy transition, in the sustainable waste management, into the raising awareness about how we as a people, as a personalities can impact in our everyday life on how our islands are going to look like. So in that point, we 2 years ago we started to professionalize the whole network, and today we are having people who are employed working remotely, and we have lots of volunteers and experts who are experts in the specific fields of the rural development, energy transition, national strategies for development of the islands. We became the famous and the most important network on the islands. We are acting as a bridge between the community needs and the strategic documents produced by the national governments and the local authorities. So in a way, we became a translator from one to the other thing, and I think this is something that everybody needs the most in a way, because there is a big gap between decision makers and the people influenced by these decisions. So this is, let's say, this was the biggest challenge, and this is also the biggest opportunity of creating a dialogue and developing the islands in a way that we all want to go. So on the other side, we focused a lot on creating a strategic documents on energy transition. So for the last few years, I accepted the challenge of working in Brussels. So I left Croatia 1.5 years ago, and I was employed by the Clean Energy for EU Island Secretariat, and this gave me completely different perception of other islands on the EU level and how we can run the energy transition and build up the communities all over Europe. So it's very interesting situation everywhere, not only in Croatia.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention, the work you're doing? And I will definitely put a link to your Island Movement website so people can find out more information. But just anything else before we close?
Well, everything is lying on the community, and this is something that every time when we are talking about islands or any other projects, I think that that the most important thing for everybody is to move closer to ourselves and to our communities, and to start to work really bottom up changes. But never forget that the top-down decisions are something that we need to follow, something that we need to be included, and somehow to connect these things to overcome the gaps that we have in the dialogue, in the needs, in the understanding of each other on the other side. And everything else that we are now listening from the European Union, especially now when we are affected by the pandemic, everybody are. So we know that it's coming a very big economic crisis for everybody, especially for islands. That means that we will survive if we cooperate. If we are going to continue this work that we are doing by competing each other in how much money or how bigger house or how more important position we will get, then this world is not going in a good way. So we will need to come back to the roots and get together if we want to survive the next period. So this would be my maybe conclusion to the situation.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Maja, for taking the time, and I wish you and your colleagues all the best as you continue to position those beautiful islands to be more sustainable and thrive in the future.
Thank you very much for inviting me.